All right, we're just about ready to go here. Give me 1 second and we will be moving forward. I always have a challenge with the technology because it's lots of different moving parts. So let's see here. My moderator should be showing up shortly. Okay. Excellent, excellent. Welcome, welcome. This is In the Cards with the Viberarian. And every Wednesday, having a conversation about all things tarot and oracle cards. I'm going to give it just a moment or two more here so we can get the folks together, the Good Vibe Tribe that shows up in the chat room. There we go. Hey there, Shannon, and thank you. So I am joined tonight for this episode of In the Cards by Mica Sage of Mica Sage Tarot. Mica, welcome.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited.
I'm not sure if I'm able to be heard. Hold on for the technical difficulties, everybody. Let me see. Okay, here we go. I was totally muted. See what I mean? I have to get the technology together. So can you say something again, Micah? I think I can hear you now.
Let's try this round.
Yes. Okay, so I'm saying welcome, and I'm assuming you say yay.
I did. Hello, thank you.
Wonderful. All right, so we've got Shannon, Heaven to Earth 1111 on Instagram on, and you two have something in common because both of you came on my interview for the Psychic Inside show. Shannon, I had her several months ago on to talk about her journey, and Micah, you joined me last night. I'm going to have that up here on the YouTube channel in the coming days, hopefully sooner rather than later. But it's also already out on Audible and iTunes and all the podcast directories. So people can search for your name and that episode should pop up. So thank you for sharing with me last night. That was really cool.
Oh, thank you. It was so much fun. I love talking about my spiritual journey and how I got involved in tarot. And it's not always that I have somebody who can just sit and listen to me for an hour.
And I mean, you were talking about it from an angle, like not only your spiritual journey, but your approach to tarot and divination and your merger with literature, which is something that you love. And we were talking about the tarot of the Little Prince. So I hope that you have that because I would love to see what this deck is about. And so if you would share with the folks who are watching, like what was the Tarot and the Little Prince project?
Absolutely. So my Tarot and the Little Prince was an exploration of the children's book, The Little Prince by Antoine de Saint-Exupéry. I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name correctly. He's very French. And we, or I rather, took a lot of the life lessons that are in that children's book and applied them to tarot. Like, what is this element trying to represent and how can I answer that question with the cards? For example, I think I mentioned yesterday in the podcast, the rose, and how in my interpretation of the book, she represents deceit. And so is like, you know, how can I turn that into a tarot exercise? Well, how am I being deceitful? In what ways am I deceiving myself or others? Mm-hmm. And how can we like not do that? Right. So it was a way to like explore the sense of self through this children's book and through the cards. So I actually didn't know about this tarot deck when I started that project. But then I was doing readings at Radiance and found this deck, and I'm pulling out some of my favorite cards here for examples. And I was like, oh my God, I have to have that.
Mm-hmm. It spoke to you, huh?
It did. And I mean, it's great for many readings, like many kinds of readings, but I found that for me in particular, it is especially noteworthy for inner child readings. And that's probably because of my history with the book, as you know, growing up with that book, reading it in the original French, and just, you know, having that as like my foundation. So here's the rose that I mentioned, and this is the Ace of Cups.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm pulling a deck as we're talking because it's coming through for me to do so. So one of the Good Vibe tribe who's watching Shannon, Heaven to Earth, butterflies are her jam, okay, spirit sign, and I believe the fox as well. And she actually gifted me with an Animal Wisdom Tarot deck. So
Oh, I love that.
we'll pull a card from that from here. What is that one?
This is
With
strength.
the fox.
This
Oh
is
my
strength.
goodness,
The
look
fox.
at that. Okay. I'm laughing because Shannon has long blonde hair. So that's
Yeah.
a perfect card.
Yes.
And
So,
she's a forest person, like as you shared about, she goes out into nature. Shannon, if you're in the comments, yes, I'm talking about all your business, but it's not anything that you didn't share on the show. But she's out ranging in the woods and nature with her dog Jazzy, and she's always seeing butterflies and foxes and snakes, and is very connected with that in spiritual conversation. So it's perfect that she says she already saw your sweet fox pillow.
yep.
Okay.
He's with me a lot. And it's so funny that you mentioned snakes too, because the suit of wands in this deck is represented by a snake.
Yes. And the episode of your podcast that I listened to was about the snake, a chapter. To be honest, I have not read The Little Prince since childhood, right? So you shared an excerpt on your podcast of the chapter, the key phrases, and the anecdotes that were being shared by this character in the storyline. And it was it was a challenging passage because it was like looking at the power of life and death, and the use of power, and how strength is wielded, and you know what I mean? And so it was very cool, and only 15 minutes. That's the thing I liked in your podcast. It was like only 15 minutes. And we went into this like whole discussion then about the snake energy. So here it is again.
Yeah, yep. Here's the 9 of Wands, and there's the snake right at the bottom.
Oh, wow. Oh my goodness.
I love the artwork on this, and you know, the colors and the images, and like I mentioned last night in the podcast, having that connection with the book really helped develop my connection with the cards as well. And so
How's
again,
the guidance that came with that deck? Is it very much, or was it written? Did it use excerpts, or was it just the deck?
it had like a little tiny, like folded over guidebook that had like maybe a sentence per card. And I frankly was not impressed, but spending a lot of time like with the cards, and honestly like reading through the book and finding like, okay, so this card goes here, and this card is part of this story, and this card goes here, kind of thing, really helped me develop my relationship with the deck.
Okay, sorry, I had to turn that off. Thank you, moderator. One of the things that you're talking about is putting your cards like in the book. So by looking at you and what you've shared, I love it because the example is that the cards are a tool for a spiritual conversation. And the fact that for you, a book of fiction that is something that you experienced at one point in your life can become a focal point for you to do some spiritual work and to look at the lens of your life. There's an opportunity for everybody to have something just that unique. You know, like it's really custom built for, and there's decks on everything imaginable. You can find your specific sauce, right? Your secret
Yeah.
sauce. Because I mean, I think I've seen that Little Prince deck maybe once or twice out in the wild, you know, at stores, and I'm pretty thorough when I look. But because I don't know the story, I've never gravitated to it.
Right. And I wouldn't expect that to be the case. You know, when I first started reading tarot, I was not at all interested in the traditional Rider-Waite styles. I was like, those primary colors are too bright. I don't understand the images. Like the books are not super helpful. But then I found this deck and it was a total game changer. And I was like, oh, now I get it. And so there really is, especially with that, this recent expansion in deck styles and art styles, you know, there really is something out there for everybody. If Poe is kind of your guy,
Oh yeah, you mentioned that yesterday. Yeah.
Yeah, here's the Poe Tarot. And it's a fun little deck. It didn't resonate super well with me, but that's because I only have a passing interest in Poe. He's not like my life's work.
Right, right. I don't have, so like there's a lady down in Savannah who created two primary decks, Dame Darcy, and they're based on like artworks that she has. One is like a mermaid theme, and so the artwork is beautiful, very fishy, but kind of New Orleans old world and ricey at the same time. But then she has an Alice in Wonderland deck, right? And I've played around with it because I get the big picture principles from Alice in Wonderland, but I haven't read it in 30 years. And I feel like I should know it better to be able to truly use the deck to the fullest degree of divination possible. If I had that insight, it'd be a better conversation, you know?
I think yes, but I also like for anybody who's interested in that kind of thing, if Alice in Wonderland is your jam, but you're like, I haven't read the book in 15, 20, 30 years, go pick up a copy. Like that's your starting point.
Right.
It had been like 8 years since I picked up The Little Prince when I found the tarot deck. And I was like, oh, here we go. This is supposed to be a thing I'm meant to explore.
Right.
And it all came coming back. And so, if you have that like spark of interest, I'm very much a wands character, if you can't tell.
Right.
If you have that spark of interest, go for it.
Right. Hello, Page of Wands. Okay, where are we going? Right. Shanna says, I love the alternative tarot. I never resonated with the original Rider-Waite either. I need the Alice deck. I have her Oracle deck. Okay, right. All right.
Love
so would you pull a card for us this evening from there? And I'm going to, before we do that, I pulled out this Pulp Tarot, which I love. It's so campy and cute. It's the cutest idea. I did this deck on a previous episode of In the Cards, but it's so clever. I'm hoping to be able to talk to the artist behind it at some point on here. So keeping with the literary theme. And then because you talked about yesterday your affinity for the forest, I had pulled out the Secret Wood Tarot Oracle deck. Have you seen this deck before?
I have not.
I know. I thought you might find it a little bit whimsical. So based on our conversation. So I'll get myself going shuffling, and if you would pick a card for us here and divinate and share with us a message.
Sure. Let's see what comes through. So we have the Two of Swords.
Oh.
Now, in this deck, the fox is on every sword suit. And for those familiar with the tarot, the swords are kind of a tragic story, of actions and integrity not lining up. And so with the Two of Swords, traditionally we see a woman blindfolded and she's usually like in front of the ocean or something and she's holding two swords.
Mhm.
And so we see that mirrored here with the prince's scarf covering his eyes. But we have the addition of the fox. And
Mhm.
so when I see this card, I interpret it as, you know, yes, we do have an important decision to make, and it's important certainly to step back and listen to ourselves about what to do. And depending on the circumstances, the fox is either friend or foe. The
Right.
fox can either give us good advice or bad advice. And so I occasionally refer to this card as the everybody shut the hell up and let me think card.
Oh, that's clever.
Because it's like, all right, everyone go away. I need to just focus.
Right.
But for
Thank you
someone who's
that.
like,
That's gonna make me laugh now from now on. Every time I see that card. Shut up and let me. Here it is. I was looking for the traditional Rider-Waite. If you could show
yes.
the other card at the same time, that we will have them both on screen.
Yeah.
All
So when someone is like really truly good and stuck on something and they're like, I for the life of me cannot figure out what to do, it's like, okay, well, maybe there's somebody who can give you some advice. Because the fox and the prince are very, very close. And their whole arc within the story is about learning to trust another being, and giving yourself that vulnerability. And so when someone is like, I've got these two swords and I don't know what to do, you know, I've got these options, but I'm completely lost. Like, well, then it might be a good time to give someone your ear.
right. To consider it at least.
Yeah.
And everybody shut the hell up. It's like also stepping out of the 3D process of it, shutting up this, because oftentimes I'm having the dualistic conversation with myself.
Oh yeah.
And we can keep talking all day. I'm a Libra, right? You know, but then everybody shut the hell up so we can like not think.
Yeah,
And
myself included. Like everyone else be
download,
quiet, and
yeah,
I need to be quiet too.
yeah, let the divine. There's nothing in this, you know. That's I think why the swords are a challenging suit, because when you're in the mental, you're not necessarily in the feeling, which is the higher divine process out of the creation aspect, if you will.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
That is beautiful. You know what? I was thinking that the Little Prince, the art in the book was kind of like him on a planet or something, standing on a planet, and
He's comes from a little asteroid.
okay.
And so the whole story is his journey from the asteroid to Earth.
Okay.
Adventures with the narrator and his time spent on Earth.
Okay, so that would seem like it would hit different now than it did when I was 45, 50, 40 years ago when I was 10. You know what I mean? It's still got a bit of irony to that whole starseed much.
Yeah.
Story. So let me see what the animal, and it's interesting because look at the back of the deck.
Oh my God, I love it. That is so beautiful.
Yes. All right, let's see. And Micah, you teach tarot. You have some materials and workbooks forthcoming as well, right?
Yeah, I was working on that earlier today. Getting some less like here's the definitions of the cards and more like here's how to develop a relationship with the cards so that you can intuit your own definitions, which isn't to say like throw the whole storybook away, but like, you know, I didn't really get the tarot until I found this deck. And so it's like, okay, so helping anybody get the tarot, like really develop that relationship with it is kind of my focal point.
Okay, so we'll put the link at micasagetarot.com to connect with you. All right, here we go. Final shuffle.
All right.
Ooh, very interesting. We have the leopard, nurturer of branches.
Get out of here.
I'm gonna assume this is probably like a queen of wands. Look at the sunflower at the bottom.
The leopard has been one of the spirit animals that's been talking to me lately.
I love it. Okay. And the second one is, this is great. Call to awakening.
Ooh, love it.
I could just hear the rooster crowing. Okay, so I love this. This does seem very much like feminine, the sacral energy, elevated, supported by the ancestral energies of the tree branches. And it's the regal branch of the wand, right? Holding on to that's her scepter, is a sprouted growth. Like, what better thing to be an embodiment of power than a sprouting new life emerging from her hand, right? When we talk about the power of life and death, I mean, that's the power of life. And of course, we know big cats, we wield the power of life and death.
Oh, yeah.
Well, okay, so what are you intuiting in for this?
I'm getting that combined with the rooster and the call to awakening is that there's somebody who, maybe more the feminine creative energy, but someone who is really stepping into themselves, embracing that visionary, that visionary persona, that drive to just, I have a lot of heart, let's give it to the rest of the world too.
Yes.
Yeah, a lot of warm coming through.
Yeah, I mean, and it's like the feminine coming through, right? The call to the awakening of the feminine energy within everyone, that is creative, that is flowing, and that is called to create the new consciousness structure that is elevating humanity, right? So very, very, very activating.
Don't sweat
okay,
stuff.
it is the Queen of Wands. The element is the water nurturer of fire branches, and it is poised, powerful, pensive, and inspiring. Stalking through sun-dappled foliage or draped stylishly over a high branch, leopard surveys her kingdom. With dignity, composure, and stealth, leopard instills presence, nurtures confidence, enhances contemplation, and inspires us to become our own fierce, proud inner cat. Strong, elegant, self-assured, leopard challenges us to master personal power by embracing life wholeheartedly. The combination of water and fire elements in this card suggests a serene, reflective disposition and an outgoing, feisty personality. The mix can seem baffling. Depth, reserve, and patience just juxtaposed with unpredictable, spontaneous, vigorous action, but it's powerful. Leopard reveals how to temper fiery emotions through spiritual growth and rule gracefully. Alert and intuitive, leopard stands motionless for camouflage, watching what others cannot see. Fleet-footed leopard moves purposely and leaps powerfully, overcoming obstacles with agility. Leopard sparks boldness and courage as we explore life and share our findings. By expressing our natural talents with passion and enthusiasm, we encourage others and awaken the innate regal nature of all. This is a card of assertiveness, welcoming you home as you rediscover yourself. The message is, have faith in your abilities. Wow.
I love that. Oh my goodness.
Wow. Okay. That was Powerful.
Yeah, there was no ambiguity there.
None whatsoever. Okay. And we said, we've got folks saying, okay, making decisions based on integrity,
Mm-hmm.
with the swords earlier, and the cat energy and royalty like a Leo. I wonder why you're wanting to talk about Leo in the chat. I actually have a Leo moon, so I can sense that too.
Leo moon and rising over here. Yep.
Okay, see, but the year of the water rabbit. I had a conversation with Alka Kapoor earlier in January, and it was very similar to this in that there's a watchfulness and a quietness within, that the rabbit is still and it's just sensing its world around it, and then it's ready to move quickly with purpose at the right moment, not out of fear, but out of the fact that it's prepared for that moment and being agile and nimble. That kind of and last year was the water tiger energy too.
This is from the Wildwood deck, and this
Oh,
is the Queen of Bows, who is correspondent to Wands.
ooh,
And she's
water
here.
rabbit, that's crazy. That's the Wildwood Tarot. Can we see the box of that?
Yeah. This is the Wildwood Tarot. This is very heavily like Celtic pagan imagery. It comes with a nice big fat book.
Oh, wow. That's huge.
Yeah, and it's loosely structured on Rider Waite, but does take some creative licensing. So not all the cards are like direct matches, but beautiful deck, wonderful to work with as well.
Would you share with us from an excerpt or from the Queen, that rabbit with the Queen of Wands?
Absolutely, I would be delighted to. Let's see here. Queen of Bows, hair. Position on the wheel is moving towards midsummer. The meaning. Hares have been linked to the spring. Esther, the Saxon hare goddess, and sexuality since Celtic times, when it was considered taboo to kill them. Prolific breeders, they represent fertility and potential. The hare is also famous for the boxing ritual that takes place in March. So the reading points. A companion through life, sympathetic and understanding, leading you to a deeper awareness of what is needed to bring success to your every enterprise. Wise and witty, gentle and kindly, the Queen supports you and strengthens your resolve. So if it's read as a person in your life, the Queen of Bows is a popular and dedicated person who has great self-assurance. As a friend, she is committed and kind, quick to defend or take your side in any eventuality. As an aspect or process, outgoing warmth, jealousy and rivalry, unpredictability, retaliation, sympathy and empathy. As an event or happening, it represents offering courteous understanding, using your ambition creatively, harboring slights or insults and undermining the plans of others, a party or social gathering, a business opportunity, a peace offering, confrontation or burnout, sorcery or petty spellcraft. Questions include, how do you influence those around you? How can your plans be best fostered now? And where do you need to be more courteous and understanding? And it has some keywords at the bottom as well.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, the Wildwood Tarot.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
and that was, yes, and that's what would they call that? The hair of
the hare, the Queen of Bows. So
Queen of
bows
Bows
corresponds to wands in that deck.
Okay. I'm going to pull out the Queen of Wands in the Poke Tarot just so we can see what image they choose for it, what story. And then I'll get back to the rooster here. So give me just a moment to fan and fan and fan. This deck is really thick. It's great card quality. Seriously, if you're into, collector weird quirky decks, as I am, you'll want to check this one out. See if I can get to here.
For reference, this is
here she is. Queen of Wands, right? Oh, yes, the more traditional. Oh, now is that from the Prince deck?
Yeah, the Little Prince.
Okay, so there's snakes again. That's very Oshun-like energy there. Orisha Oshun, who is vibrant and passionate and and Shakti, right? All of those kind of embodied, passionate, feminine with that yellow. This is the Queen of Wands in the Pulp Tarot.
All right. She's got that very confident, like lean.
Yeah, she looks almost like one of the Hollywood divas, of the silent film era, like what's her name, Betty Davis with the very thin eyebrows, or Elizabeth Taylor in a period piece or something like that.
Yeah,
she's got the kohl around the eyes, and this one does maintain elements. It does maintain like the black cat that is in the Rider-Waite and the sprouting wand.
Oh yeah.
In her hand. Sorry, it's just not as clear as I would like over there. But yes, the same sprouting wand, and I don't think, it probably just didn't stick in my mind that there is a sprouting wand in the Queen of Wands Rider-Waite. But now that I've seen it in this other deck, I'll see it in the traditional deck.
Oh yeah.
That's one thing I do like about cartomancy or looking at cards, is it evolves. Like you begin to see different, you never see the card the same way from time to time, right? Or is it just me?
Yeah, and something that I like, a minuscule detail that I found in one deck that another deck might not have, but the meaning still carries over, or it like changes somehow. Like, this Queen of Wands I would read differently than this Queen of Wands kind of thing.
Absolutely. Right.
So like the energy is still there, but it's just nuance. It's all nuance. And
it makes a
little love that about tarot.
And it's like our guides understand us as how we're stimulated by our senses and symbols and things like that. So they're really trying to help us communicate with them. And I say all the time, it's like my guides and I were playing charades, and I'm sure they're sitting there like, 2 syllables sounds like, and they're like, is she gonna get it this time? And they're like, oh no, you know what I'm saying? So oracle cards give it a way to facilitate a more nuanced conversation, but I've acquired more facility over the years. Now I'm having a more sophisticated conversation with spirit. It's like learning how to write in print, then you can write in cursive and have a more fluid relationships. That's the same way cards are for me.
Absolutely. Yeah, I would agree to that.
And your tarot journey's only been like a couple of years, like in terms of intensely like activated to it, right?
Yeah. Started, first picked up my first oracle deck in beginning of 2020, and it's just been like all the roads
it clicked, right?
It clicked
with that Prince deck, that little Prince deck. That's when it clicked for you.
Yeah.
Like, see, that's beautiful. You were like ready for it, and it found you. So the call to awakening happening for you clearly at that time. So let's check out the rooster. Rooster. Okay, I have a friend, she's normally here, and Rooster Booster from Quick Trip was her thing. She would just get hopped up on Rooster Booster. But it is the sun, triumph, joy, splendor, brilliance, and radiance. And you know what's so crazy? I have to show you this.
Oh my gosh. There she is. Yep.
There she is.
Oh my goodness.
I
love that.
It says, bright, bold, assertive, proud rooster calls us to attention. Wake up. Announcing daybreak and new beginnings, rooster proclaims truth and radiates exuberance. Arising with rooster, we feel invigorated, healthy, happy, and self-assured. Solar symbol of illumination, vitality, and good fortune, rooster strengthens self-confidence, inspires joy and simple pleasures, and encourages us to seize the day. Rooster's presence signals breakthrough and enlightenment. What was hidden by shadow is now plainly understood. Freed from doubt and confusion, we revel in direct experience. We feel good with who we are. Rooster affirms success, growth, and completion. Events occur with perfect timing. Love and prosperity flow freely. Your future looks promising. Symbolic of awakened consciousness, rooster stands aligned with life purpose. We are at peace because we know who we are. We clearly see our inner light is turned on and glowing brightly. Wide awake, we shine as the brilliance of our true selves, which encourages others to do the same. Warm and elated, we beam joy and illuminate the world. The message: bask in the sunlight of self.
Wow.
I love that because it says what was hidden by shadow is now plainly understood, freed from doubt and confusion. That's the taking off of that blindfold in the Two of Swords, right? Freed from doubt and confusion.
In The Little Prince, I also have it pulled up with my Wildwood deck, but in The Little Prince, we have him sitting on a simple chair, and the rose is nearby, and he's just sitting on an asteroid looking into the sun. And so what this card references is the prince's planet is very small. It's about the size of a small house. And one of the great pleasures of having a planet so small is that one can watch the sunset as many times as you want. And so in this, it's depicting the little prince and the time that he watched the sunset 23 times because he just had to keep moving his chair.
Oh.
And so there's an emphasis of whimsy here and like playfulness that I think sometimes gets lost in the more traditional, like powerful sun messages. Like, yes, things are becoming clear, but also like life is simple and you can enjoy the simple things.
Right. You said he just moved his chair 23 times, right? If you just, sometimes all it takes is that perspective shift.
Yeah.
I heard a lady who channels Theo, is the consciousness that she Theos, and she says you change the aperture on your lens and that changes everything. So all he had to do was shift. Not one big leap. He just had to do 23 little shifts to always keep the sun shining, right? One of the things I have says, keep your face always towards the sunshine and the shadows will fall behind you.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
Right, I love that too. I have to read the moon one because we're all up in it, of course. And of course, it's balancing the masculine and feminine. And let me just say, we're at the new year. It is actually New Year's, right?
It is
an Aries season. It is equinox. We are now in the new half of the solar consciousness is now just beginning to rise again. This is sunlight on a new day, sunrise of a new morning, right?
And I'm an Aries, so I'm definitely just drinking in that energy.
Oh, yeah. When's your birthday?
On Friday, 2 days from now.
Oh, you bring it in quick. Oh, yeah. So Aries, and then you said Leo, so you got a lot of fire.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have 4 fire placements and the rest are water.
Oh, well, there you go. We have nurturer, fire, water, and fire. Okay. All right. Let's see. So, okay, the rabbit one, I'm not going to dig through and find it, but it is magic, wonder, reflection, insight, and inspiration. Rabbit, skilled shifter, elusive guide to fairy kingdoms, symbol of good luck, fertility, and longevity, leaps between worlds. popping from the magician's hat, scampering down the hole to Wonderland, resting in the full moon's luminous glow. Rabbit links us with dreams, lunar mysteries, and the far reaches of our imagination. Clever, quick, and agile, Rabbit leads us to hidden knowledge, although following may require a leap of faith. While this wild card suggests enhanced insights and intuitive illuminations, it can also entail bewilderment. Enchanted by the unfamiliar beauty of secret realms, we may lose ourselves in fascination and wonder. Find your center and stay grounded to avoid confusion and emotional turbulence. Express creative visions and inspired experiences through the arts. Dance, write, paint, sing. And aren't you a writer?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you are. Okay. All right. Accomplished guide to shadow worlds. Rabbit helps to identify our underlying fears birthed by self-deception. With Rabbit, you gain greater awareness of yourself and learn to see clearly. Rabbit teaches how to recognize illusion, accept paradox, and embrace the deep primal powers of your moonlit intuition. The message: be open to mystical marvels, but keep an eye on your path.
Love that.
Okay, for the Rabbit energy and the Queen of Wands. The chat room says, happy birthday. Okay.
Thank you.
You're getting much love there. I have to pull it up because it is just such a beautiful card.
Yeah.
I love how spirit just kind of moves from one thing to the next, and an ever expanding. That's why I don't do deck walkthroughs, honestly. A lot of my decks, I haven't even seen the cards completely because I only see them when I read with them. Because I'll just keep getting downloads and downloads and downloads, because as soon as I see it, it triggers. It's like keeping the phone line open.
Oh, yeah.
You know.
While you're looking for that one, here's the moon in The Little Prince. And it really emphasizes that elusive or that illusory deception that we can tell ourselves. Like, I don't know if it's in focus.
Yeah, it is. So what's on the shadow? Is that a shadow cast on the moon?
Yeah, so
it's him making a puppet.
He's making a shadow puppet.
A shadow.
So
oh, he's like creating the shadow. We're creating our shadow.
Exactly. So it's like, all right, is that thing I'm afraid of actually a terrifying goat monster? Or is it my inner child messing around and throwing up shadows on the wall? Ram!
It's on the bottom of the deck. Hilarious. Okay, Ram, I'll send that to you offline. Okay, for your birthday, I'm gonna send that over to you.
All right.
And then Shannon, I'm gonna send you this dog that popped out too. Because she's her and her jazzy. Okay. Focus, spirit, focus. So this was the rabbit card.
Oh, that is so beautiful.
It is quite beautiful. I love his purple. That's that divine, the intuition, the feminine. You know, we're meant to be balanced in both our intuiting, our electric and our magnetic, our feminine and masculine. So the fact that, you know, the rooster, the sun and the moon came out together, right? It's just a beautiful balance. We're at the equinox period as well. Right, where we can find that equilibrium, and we don't have to choose one or the other. You know what I'm saying? That's the other thing too.
And I mean, that was also a big part of my journey through the tarot is, so I'm non-binary, so I don't identify as man or woman. And so finding that balance between night and day, you know, Empress and Emperor, all that was a big part of that journey for me as well.
Right. And Aries is such a masculine, you know, energy just in general. It is the electric that says, okay, I know that I've been created. Now, what is this creation? Let's go see about it. Right.
Yeah.
I love that curiosity, that Ace of Wands of the Aries, you know, energy. And we all should have an Aries season, you know what I'm saying? Like in spirit and in truth, because that's part of the creation cycle, right?
Yeah.
spark comes forth. We're all here because of it. So,
It's just a matter of
okay.
recognizing it within yourself.
Which is what the call to action is saying, and what the leopard queen was saying. You better know your power and just bask in glory in it and stand up in it. It was such a positive reading. So, okay, this is the Secret Woods guidebook.
Oh, that's so cute.
Adorable deck. Here's the tuck box. So it's adorable because, of course, when you put it together.
Oh my goodness.
How
Too
whimsical,
cute.
right? Totally whimsical. So let's see what energy wants to come from the woodland for the kindred who are here. The forest, the keepers, the earth keepers who go out there in nature and activate the grid points and communicate with that realm, bringing the energy conduits for us. All right, 1, 2, or 3, Michael, what do you say here?
2.
2?
2.
Ooh, very whimsical.
Messenger.
Messenger,
Oh, that's
conquer
so
a
cute.
problem over time.
That's super cute. I love that. I love those old tiny bicycles.
Yeah, those are, the whole card is just very clever. It's, again, the artwork is very depthful on these. Oh, look.
What does it
Let's
say?
see. Oh, you see the rabbit?
Oh my goodness. There's that rabbit.
There's the rabbit. Follow the white rabbit. It's not white, it's just, it looks like the velveteen rabbit almost. But it's like there's a harvest in the little basket. Oh, and here's the crown. Like we had on the leopard lady. She had a crown as well.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
There's kind of a resonance in those, eh?
Oh yeah.
Okay, all right, let's see what the messenger, and then on the bottom is, oh, I'm gonna save this picture. I'm gonna let the suspense build. Okay, let's get into the messenger first. Conquer a problem over time. The messenger is as tall as the locust tree and is normally invisible to humans, but can be seen among the blowing leaves in autumn. He is a transformative spirit of nature who delivers a message to easily go where the wind takes you. Somebody in the chat said, go with the flow. Okay, a deeper look. Whatever challenges you carry that may not be ready to be conquered can still be allowed to glide gracefully alongside you. The biggest problems often require a long time to process, but will more quickly dissipate when given small amounts of attention on a daily basis. The point is to bring the issue into your awareness and make it a regular task that you absorb into your routine, allowing fear and resistance to be transformed into reward and satisfaction.
I'm feeling called out now.
Are you?
I have so many projects and I'm so like, they're too big, I can't deal with them. It's like just a little bit at a time.
Little nibble, right? Like a little forest mouth, a little tiny mouse, just a little tiny nibble. I'm like you, I do feel it on this. It's like, okay, just what do you say? The journey of 1,000 begins with one step. Or, I'm sure there's some lovely quote to that effect, right? Baby steps. Okay, this is the final card for today, and it is perfect as well.
No. Oh my gosh.
Look at that.
Oh my
Alchemist.
goodness.
And it says, improve your outlook. Okay, so brewing tea, like, okay. Brewing tea, sprinkling some leaves in there. There's like a concoction on the table with some ointments. He's got the flames, the 3 candle flames over on the floor. Purple background, higher divine energies coming in, right? This is like, we're creating, we have all the ingredients, like what I say earlier, a special sauce, right? We each can find our own special sauce, which is unique for us in spirit to enjoy. And I see here the stars coming down almost as if they're like descending into the cup at some point, maybe.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
And okay, so it's a green vest as well, which we know that is heart-centered input as well. It's beautiful. I can't believe this. So hilarious. Okay, Alchemist. I think this is the first card in the whole deck. It is. The alchemist is busy making potions in secret in his secret sparkling cave. He is a conjurer of beauty who creates a romantic atmosphere where he works dressed in his most magical attire. A deeper look. You have come to realize and accept the nature of the situation and that it is out of your control. Now is the appropriate time to transform your attitude. The alchemist processes both negative and positive actions and collects only the essence of what is pure. Take a moment to gather your thoughts about what you have learned and know happiness is cherished because bad things happen. So pick yourself up, right?
What also stands out to me about that card is that he's in his cave alone. You don't have to put on a show for the whole world. You just have to do it for yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And, you know, one of my my moderator, I know she's like, I want to get dressed up and go somewhere. I'm tired of being like mom and family. Like, we don't ever get cute anywhere. Go out on the town. Let's go. And of course, I'm like, I want to wear flip-flops and a cover up on the beach, you know what I'm saying? But like that, really wanting to like put on your finery and do something and feel magical and feel sparkly and all of that, you know, in the inner cave, right? Yeah. But that was like it was like an unexpected message, right? Because it's saying that, you know, something in the situation's out of your control, that almost like you've come to realize that 2 of Swords, like the situation's out of your choice, out of your control, and not making a choice is still making a choice. So if you're sitting there, oh, there's your kitty cat you mentioned yesterday.
This is Huckleberry. He's being a monster.
All right, Huckleberry. That's such a Pacific Northwest name. There were huckleberries everywhere when I was visiting in Washington State. I was with huckleberry jelly jam or something.
Oh yeah. When I was a little kid, I'd go out picking huckleberries with my grandparents every July. It's like it's a thing out here.
Well, that's a perfect name for him. So yeah, I mean, it's very taking that blindfold off, realizing it's out of your control. Why am I holding on control, right? And most of what our logical mind tries to do is control our outcomes rather than flowing, which is how our intuition says for us to go. But and then it said that it processes both negative and positive. So there again is that polarity doing both and existing within that as well. So, wow, these are awesome images.
I love that deck. Oh my goodness.
And if you would share yours again that we pulled from the Prince. Yes. Oh, look, the cup. That's why. Okay, you know, when I have to ask something, okay, so look, you got your cup and he's pouring tea, right?
Yeah.
And the cup, you know, when we get the Ace of Cups in Tarot, it's like the gift of our loving desires is brought to us from the creator, but we are the creator of, like, what do I love? Let me create that, right? So we have that alchemy to be able to create. and bring into that cup. And we will be blessed with our creations, right? Which is why it's important to spend that time within, right?
Yeah.
It's
Cannot be stressed
beautiful.
enough.
Okay. Oh my goodness. So one of our other friends that's not here, Melanie, Naked Lady Mandalas. I interviewed her a couple weeks ago, and we talked the Healing Mandala Oracle. Shannon just says that Huckleberry is her doggy that crossed the Rainbow Bridge. That's her doggy's name.
Oh.
So I'm sure she usually catches these later after her daughters go to bed. So I'm sure she's probably gonna bust out with tears. Don't you think, Shannon? I'm sure she's probably gonna be like, "What? No way!" She's very exuberant about all this when the magic happens, you know. But no, this has been a wonderful energy, Mica. And you said that you have a podcast in your potentialities that has to do with the Raven and the deck that and another deck. You got two decks, right?
This is the only one that I have. I know of another one. It doesn't call to me, so I didn't really pick it up. Yes, so coming up, I am trying to work out something that I did similar to The Little Prince, where we take in elements of the poem The Raven by Edgar Allan Poe and distill it down into like its most essential little nubbin and then draw some cards around it.
Yeah, awesome. Well, I know you've got a lot on your plate, but we will be paying attention to see when that drops. And I hope that you'll come back and talk cards with me another time.
I would love to.
This is great. I love the decks that you shared. I'm still not going to go out and get the Little Prince deck, but I am going to read it again because I feel like it's being pushed out for a reason. And I've seen that Poe deck. Neither of them, necessarily speak to me, but we all have our own flavor of geek, right?
Oh, yeah.
So I probably have too many mermaid decks. Let me just say that. But so MicaSageTarot.com and at Mica Sage Tarot on Instagram, and I'll put those links in the show notes later. I'll also, and later is, in divine timing.
I'm going to use that now. I'm not late. I'm just on divine timing.
Divine timing, right? Yeah. So higher powers determining my production schedule. Okay. No, but I'll put all the notes that I can in here. And again, I thank you. And it looks like we are in for some really amazing times as we stand in our power and claim our feminine creator sacral energy to create this new beginning, a new year. And happy birthday to you, Aries season jump off. And I hope that you have wonderful things planned with all this great energy that's come in to affirm your birthday. I hope you are out somewhere swinging around and being your best self.
Oh, that's the plan. Thank you so much for having me. This is a delight.
Awesome. Well, thank you to everybody, Shannon, Tanya, Jackie, the Good Vibe Tribe, everybody who's popping in. And for those of you that catch this at a later time, drop me a comment. Let me know if there's a deck you want me to talk about or you think I should get. And if you're a creator, show me your work and I would love to check out your decks. I love all things cards. So, all right, y'all, namaste.